Welcome to this short video on OIC observability monitoring at OCI level. So without further ado, let's begin. Go to developer service. I click on integration. And we're going to look at that OIC instance that I was using in the first video here. So from an OCI console perspective, here we have this OIC instance. Now, the first thing that's very interesting here is the service metrics that are available. Now, these are telling us received messages, how many messages were received by OIC in this particular time period here. Now, when we talk about received messages, these are messages, for example, API invokes to OIC, or the response is coming back to OIC after invokes from OIC. So these are the received messages. We see here successful messages, failed messages, inbound request processing time, how long did it take to process those requests, outbound request invocation processing time. So this is very interesting. For example, if you have a integration that uses the Fusion ERP adapter, you could check on its execution time or invocation time here. Out of the box, of course, this is looking at all outbound requests, but very easily we can go into what we know as what's called here Metrics Explorer, and we can change that query very easily to zone in on particular adapters. So this is the high level response over all adapters, but we can, of course, zoom in for specific adapters that you think could be problematic or whatever. Then we have the inbound requests, outbound requests, consumed messages. Now, consumed messages are the messages consumed from a billing perspective. So, for example, you know that with OIC, a message for us is a request, an incoming request with a payload up to 50 KB. So if I have a large incoming payload, for example, 90 KB, from a technical perspective, it would be one message. From a consumed messages, i.e. billing perspective, it would be two messages. And here we see how many message packs we have configured. As you can see, the default here is one. I've one message pack configured for this instance. Now, just going back in here regarding the outbound request invocation time, I'll just show you the way you can actually say view this query in Metrics Explorer. So as I say, now you can come in here. You can see here, we can go in and we can say show the data in the edit table here. So that's not very, very interesting for us maybe, but we can go in and we can edit the query. And we look at edit the query, we can see here, okay, what can we actually do here? We can specify or change the time interval. We can also look at the different stats, like mean, sum, count, min, max, the various P90s, 95, 99, etc. We can also specify down here, if you see, the resource ID is actually the OIC instance. We can also say the adapter identifier. This is what I was saying, we have multiple adapters. So you can say, okay, I'm really only interested in the ones that are doing co-located ICS, which is local invokes, for example. I could click on that. Or the database, e-business suite, FTP, etc., etc. So you see all of these guys are available here. I can go in here and maybe update the timeline on this and say the quick selects the last 30 days. And we should hopefully see some data there for update the chart. And of course, we can here aggregate message streams if we want. And then, of course, we can add the various dimensions here. You can see let's go in for the adapter. Let's take the NetSuite adapter there. I can go even further. I can say, I'm only interested in the NetSuite adapter usage by a particular integration. And then I can select that particular integration. And here we have an integration that syncs accounts from NetSuite or from Salesforce to NetSuite. So that might be an interesting one for us there. You can see the other dimensions that are information here, the status. You know, okay, I'm only interested in the response times of particular invokes from this integration to NetSuite with the following response or whatever. So this is very, very interesting what we have here. And as you can see here, we've got something else called create alarm. Now, what are alarms? Alarms are very, very useful. And let's go over here and we go to the service metrics and we can actually see the alarm definitions here. So alarms can be created here at OCI level based on the service metrics coming from OIC. So just think of two salient pots of information coming from OIC to OCI, the service metrics, and the activity stream log data. So with the service metrics, for example, I've one here, high consumption. So I'm checking here if the build message count is above a certain level for a certain time frame, then send me an email. So you can see exactly what I'm doing here. I'm sending you this high consumption and particular integration. If the build message count within a certain number of minutes is greater than 10, send a message to this billing topic. And from that billing topic, you will see here, that's just going to result in an email being sent to the OIC administrator. You can see this here, and there's the protocol email, and that email is going to be sent to myself. Now back to our OIC instance here in the OCI console. I talked about enabling the OIC logs being pushed to OCI logging. This is done very simply by enabling that. And as you can see here, I have created a certain log group and a name within that log group. So the activity stream data or a subset of that data is going to be sent to this log group within OCI logging, and within that log group to this particular log here. Now, if I click on this, I actually come here to this, this activity stream here. And as you can see here, we can see like the past hour. We'll see, and here are the different jobs that have actually run, etc., etc. And I've all of that salient information here, and of course I can drill down into these logs here. Now, one thing to note here, the data that you see here is related to the activity stream data, but is not the same as the activity stream data. So it's not a one-to-one set of activity stream data that you're getting pushed to OCI logging, but it does contain the salient information that you could need, like the action name, the action type, the executed time, which is the time that this particular action within this OIC integration was executed. So if we go back up here now again to logging, let's go in this way. So here's logging. And as you can go in here, you see here, we can come in at this very, very top level and say, which logs do we want to look at? So I've got many compartments here. I'm sure you don't have that many. And I can go in here and I say, I just want this log group here. And within that log group, I only want a particular thing here, which is this guy here. And I can do continue. And then I can say, okay, I want the data for the past hour. You see the data for the past hour here. Now, what's interesting, let's go back in here and let's look at observability and go in here to the actual instance flows. We can see here the instance ID. I'm going to copy this instance right there. Let's go to this guy. Let's copy that instance ID. Go back in here. Let's go back into here. And now we can put in filters. Now I could actually just go and just press that and see what happens. And I get all of the logs for this particular instance. Yeah. Okay. So very, very interesting there. But what I can also do, there are certain fields I can search by. Say I'm only interested in a certain action within that. You know, I'm only interested in the invoke action to NetSuite or whatever, or a specific action type. Or, you know, there I can actually specify the instance ID as well. Like what I did there was just a global search, but I could also go in and say, just give me that data, you know, data instance ID equal to, and I do Control V, and I have that, and I can get rid of that. And of course, it's actually going to show me the same data here. So with that, of course, I can go in, look at the data, review it, etc., etc. So that is OCI logging. We've looked here at the alarms as well. And if I just go back up to the top level here with my logging, just one moment, please. As I say, here it is under observability and management. Click here on logging. You have access to all of that there. The final piece of the puzzle I wanted to show you now is the OCI dashboards, which are available at this level here. Now, it's very, very easy to create these dashboards. The dashboards that can be created based on the service metrics or the logs I showed you there in OCI logging. As you can see here, I have created some ones here showing the number of messages received. So you can say which are my most used integrations, which one have the most successful messages, where are the failed messages happening, etc., etc. Here, I'm giving a view of the logs. And as you can see, clicking here will bring me back to that log search that I showed you earlier. So you can dive into particular instances of particular integrations, etc. And then we say, here's a breakdown by action type, which mightn't be too interesting, but just showing you what is available here. So you really can create very intricate or complex metrics diagrams based on the logs and the metrics available to you here. For example, here I'm showing the error breakdown, and here I'm saying how many requests I might have to ADW. At the moment, I don't have any, because of this. In the past 7 days, I haven't that. So very, very easy to add widgets to the dashboard. For example, you click here and you can see, okay, for example, let's take some metrics. And we come down here, we can configure that chart. And then we're back into this here, say test chart. And you can put in some more information there. And you're saying here, okay, which region am I in? Which metric space? So I'm looking here, of course, for integration, OCI integration. And then I'm down here, which metrics. So these are all of the metrics you've already met. So you can click whichever one of them you want. For example, build message count. And I'm interested in the sum. And I say the dimension key. I say I'm looking for a particular integration. And I'll take some integration there, for example, this fell in here, and I can actually configure that guy there then. So I can see the build message count for this particular integration over a period of time and how that is increased. So again, these dashboards are allowing you very easily at this top level within the OCI console to have insight into what's going on within your OIC environments. Thank you.